Hey guys, Rick Shaw here. Did my doctor's thing today and I got a really good bill of health. They did the blood work, just took the one vial. Red blood cells were real good, white blood cells were coming up strong. Uh, the calcium, magnesium, potassium, all that was normal levels. But I'm still weak though. I got a real bad weakness in my shoulders and my back just short walks. The mailbox is 600 feet from here, and I can't make there and back 1,200 feet. I got to stop about halfway and have a sit. If I sit for just a couple minutes, I'm good. But got on the bike the other day just to stand it up with me sitting on it, and not yet. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a while till I get a little bit stronger. If I did go over, even if it just tipped over in a parking lot or something like that, there's no way I could pick it up. You know, I just don't have the strength right now. That bike is so top heavy, but it does ride nice, so that's the way she goes. So, but we got a heck of a soup going on with all this stuff going on with Iran and those guys over there. I sure do hope we stay out of it. I don't think we should be poking our nose in that. But who knows? I could be wrong. I don't know. It just seems like a bad deal. But I did watch a thing. Somebody put this on. I don't know if it's AI. Could be AI for all I know. But they pulled up a speech of this Netanyahu back in the 90s when they wanted us to go into Iraq. You know, weapons of mass destruction and all that stuff. And then they pulled up the one from just the other day, and I'm not kidding you, it was almost word for word the same. You know, it's the same speech, different time. So I don't know. I don't know what to do on that. I also hate to see the cities in our own country getting tore up, you know, with rioters and stuff like that. It was like that years ago with the Antifa guys. Now we got these guys. And the thing that makes me just sit here in wonder was 6 months ago they were all screaming, get them out, you know, get these dang people out. They're sucking off the welfare system, they're doing all this and that, and now they want to keep them, you know. And some of the stuff that they put on YouTube, when I was at the doctor today, I had to wait a real long time, so I was watching the phone, and some of these people with the purple hair and the obese people, it just, to me, doesn't seem like they're thinking straight. It's a really scary thing. But I hope the weather starts heating up. Today we had mixed. We had a little bit of sun, and then by the time I was done with my doctor's appointment and got home, cloudy. It was just all overcast, no sunshine. So that's the way that goes. But I would like to get out. Next month I'm going to get the oil changed on the bike. I think it's okay to ride it with the oil that's in it, because I got 2 quarts of synthetic in it. It hasn't went down a drop, and I had put a new filter, but I'll ride it around a little bit. And it does look kind of dark, because this bike has a window in the side, so you can get a good look at it. And the bad thing about this bike is you can't check it yourself. You have to have somebody else look at it, or somebody stand it up level for you so that you can check. You can't look down and see it. So that was a Kawasaki miss. You know, I would rather have just a dipstick, you know, so I could check my oil easily. This window that's way down on the bottom, you can't see it. Even when I have my little daughter, when I stand it up straight, she's, where's it at? Where's it at? You know. So it's kind of hard to see, but I've got the oil. I just don't have the filter right now, and I gotta call around and see who's got a filter for that. But last time it was an easy change. You know, there's nothing to it, and the kickstand, everything's out of the way of the oil plug. I would like to have one of them magnetic oil plugs, but this one don't have it. And you know, with the way things are going right now. I got stuff I got to do with the car, so I got to save up a little money. And I got a hold of the guy about the tranny fluid, and they had not done it. They hadn't done that. They only did what was called for in the book. Now, they didn't give me the book, but the stickers in the door show all the stuff they had done. They were really good on the oil changes, and they had done the radiator fluid already, and they had the time and chain checked, and they had different stuff looked at, but they didn't do the tranny fluid. So that's something I'd like to get done. But the way this transmission is, I called tranny places, garages, the Buick dealer, and if you just have them drain what's in the pan and then add it up, that's $200 and some. But if you have them take the bottom off and then drop that pan, put a new filter in, and replace all the fluid, that was $360. And that was the cheapest price I got. I had some that were over $400. So the cheapest was this transmission shop down here, and he said, it's just a pretty good job. But I told him if I get it done, I got to sit there and wait for it. And he said, oh yeah, well, when we make your appointment, we'll take it right in. He says you can sit in our waiting room, or you can walk over and get a sandwich. It's by a restaurant there. I think it's by. He said it was Dairy Queen was over there. He says you can go over and get something to eat, and then he says it shouldn't take us too long. He says this is what we do. We're a transmission place, and he says we have the fluid here for that model. And I said, well, would you have synthetic fluid for that? And that kicked the price up about $50. And he says, yeah, we have that too. But he goes, you got a really big transmission cooler on here. It's not really necessary. Yeah, I do like the synthetic though. But the oil, I can do that myself. I'll do if I do rotating the tires. Oh, thanks, by the way, for telling me about the tip on AutoZone about renting the tools from there and then bringing them back and getting my money back. I really appreciate that, because I did not know that. Because I'm going to need a floor jack, and it'll just take me a long time to rotate the tires, because I'm going to cross them, and then I got to put the donut on. Its spare is just a little donut, so I'll have to put that on the one side to get them all moved. But if I got a floor jack, it won't be bad. And I need a torque wrench, because those torque at 100 foot-pounds, and I want to make sure I'm going to put them on, drive it around, and then check them again, because I definitely don't want a wheel falling off. That would majorly suck. But the brakes are something's going to have to be done too. When it locked those brakes up, I was in traffic. The owner's manual turned that damn thing off, and after it did it again, it's not good. I called up the Buick dealer. There was a recall on that, and I gave him the VIN number, and he said he could check the VIN number and see if the recall was done, and he would call me back. So I'm waiting on the call for that. He said if it hasn't been done, he says bring it down anytime, and he goes, there's no charge. So it's a software glitch, and it's only on certain models. It's not on all of them. That's why I guess it wasn't a big major recall. They were just calling up individuals that had this model that I have. So, hi, buddy.
Hi.
There's my little sweetheart. And there's Bubbles.
Hi.
So, and there's my other little buddy right there. We're just chilling in the room. I got back from the doctors and just absolutely exhausted, because that VA is pretty big. There's a lot of walking around for the different stuff. And the chairs in there, when I was waiting for in there, they're not comfortable at all. There's just no really good chairs to sit in. I should have brought my walker, because I can sit in that thing a long time. But that's the way it goes. I'm getting kind of scraggly here. But the one girl, I hadn't seen the one girl in there for months, since before I went and had the thing, and she goes, oh, you got a haircut. I said, no, all my hair fell out. And she was asking me if I dyed it. And I said, nope, I'm not dyeing my hair. It's just come back. She says, well, when you were here before, my hair was pretty long then. And she said, it was all white. And I said, yeah, I don't know. The beard's not all white, though. So maybe just the top. I couldn't tell you. But it's got some gray in there. What are you going to do? I would never dye my hair anyway. Just leave it the color that it is. And if it falls out, my daughter Dorothy was teasing me because she says I got a bald spot in the back. I said, what are you gonna do? But I don't know. I'm still pretty beat. I'm not going to do anything the rest of the day. Probably tomorrow we'll take the kids up to the park again, and or get out and do something. I wish we could find a cheap place to go swimming. You know, they got these swimming places down here, but they're so expensive, and with 3 kids, it's like ridiculous. You know, they got these. Now, if you live in Middleburg Heights, they got a pool over there that's real cheap, a couple bucks, if you're a resident. But I'm not a resident of Middleburg Heights, so it's like, oh, doesn't that suck? And there's nothing over here that's cheap. The one place is $127 a week to swim at their pool. And then they got that one with all the big slides and stuff. That's like ridiculously expensive. I mean, just for one day, I think it was like $35. And it's Brook Park, but they don't give you any discount for living in Brook Park. This city's, they don't seem to do a lot stuff like that. We go to the library though. I've been taking the kids to the library. They got a big play area in there, and they got a couple hours a day where they can make noise in there. And they don't bother them. Plus, they'll give them something to eat and drink if they want it. They didn't really want it, but Dorothy got some books last time, and that's cool. I hope they read them. You know, she picked out some of them Harlequin, like romance ones. I don't know. That's not my bag. But I got the boys some ones about dogs. You know, where dogs are saving the day and rescuing. I see a lot of this stuff on YouTube with those Malinois dogs, I believe they're called. They look like a skinny shepherd. Boy, those dang things are smart, and they can do acrobatics. It's unbelievable, you know. And that's what they use. War dogs, they use them. But not much else going on here. I'll just go ahead and let you go. I hope that this thing, I'm on day like close to 160. They said it takes a year, so I'm not quite halfway yet. And when I was talking to the one nurse in there, because there's a lot of people that have the same thing I do, and then I was talking to the driver too, and they said, yeah, pretty much everybody, it's a year. Some it's more than a year before they're back to good shape. But the driver was telling me his sister had it. Of course, she was a lot younger than me. You know, he looked like he was about 40, and it was his younger sister, he said. She had it done years ago. And he said she come back pretty quick, and she's doing really good still. But being older like this, it's just kicking me right in the butt. I'm not healing up, still weak. I would love to get out and ride that bike, but I definitely don't want to take a spill in the middle of somewhere and then not be able to pick it up. When Dorothy and I were on it, and it just leaned over at the gas station. We were going in the store to get something, and instead of letting me know she was getting on the bike, she says, here, hold this. So I didn't have my hands on the bike. I had my hands on the bags to put them on the handlebars, and she jumped on and pulled the bike right over. Didn't hurt it, just fell over on its side. I couldn't pick it up. But there was some nice young fellas that were getting gas that saw it happen, and they come right over and picked up the bike for me. We're just, you know, when you see young people like that, it's something I would have done when I was young. That was really nice that they helped us out. And then I rode it home, but I don't want that happening again. I know the kids, they want to ride, but I'm not even in the shape to ride anybody on there but me right now. You know, if it started going over, that's the one bad thing about that bike. It's extremely top heavy, and it's so tall. But I was telling that driver that I had today, I hadn't had him for a year. He's a pretty cool guy. I said, if you had this bike in the Philippines, you could leave the keys in it all the time. And he goes, why? I says, not too many Filipinos could ride that bike. I've seen them over there, but they got the S model, and then they still lower them even more, just so they could ride them. But I don't know. I don't think I'll lower this one. I just hope I get strong enough to ride it, because when I'm in good shape, like when I first got it, I could ride the heck out of that bike. But my brother, I don't know how much riding he's going to do this year. Everybody's getting older. I'm the youngest of all my family, and I don't know how much riding we're going to do. But I don't mind riding by myself. It's just better to go with somebody in case if something happens. But I remember when I was real young, my brother had a VMAX, and we were riding. He's a fantastic rider, and we were sitting at the light, and he took off and he pulled a wheelie way through the intersection, double the distance of the intersection on that thing, and I'm hanging on for dear life, but wasn't worried. I always thought he was out of everybody I ever knew, he was the best rider that I even heard of. He's a really good motorcycle rider, and he always had a lot of nice bikes. I always had a lot of nice bikes too. I love the motorcycles. This one, I think, is, for me, with my bad back, it's ideal. It's just ideal for me for being a nice ride. I almost got the 650 Honda, but it didn't have any wind protection and all that stuff. It was the same like this. Nice smooth ride on them, and the damn motors go forever. But I said, well, it was going to cost me too much to put a windshield on, and I'll get it set up for me. And then the seats on them suck. I would have had to spend a couple $100 on a better seat. And this Kawasaki, you can iron butt this thing, the seat on it. That's why I don't like the S model, because they skinnied the seat out to lower it down. And of course they lowered the suspension too. But this seat on this thing is, we went all the way to Pennsylvania. When we first were going there, we just cooked. We just went. Coming home, we stopped quite a bit. But going there, we just cooked right along, and neither one of us had a sore butt when we got there. And the way you sit on the bike, it's just comfortable. And that little tiny windshield, it keeps all that pressure off your chest, because we had her up to 90 some for good sprints. Whenever there was cars past us doing like 100, I'd speed up for a little while, as long as there wasn't a lot of traffic when we went. And we were the only motorcycle out there. Coming home, it got pretty cold. But I had it in my mind I was going to super motard that down the road and put 17-inch tires on it. But when we were coming home, when we got on the 71 off the turnpike, the front tire went flat. And there was no fixing it. You pump it up, and within a couple of minutes it was down again. But being that it's a dirt bike, those are made to air down. So I just kept it around 30, and we just put it home, made it home all the way without any trouble. Tire stayed on the rim, and I didn't push it. Real easy on the corners. And of course we had like no traffic. That was a real plus. So I just kept it at 30, and we got her home. And then I wound up putting the slime in it, got her fixed up. But I don't know. I'd like to get I'll keep that same type of tire on there. I don't know if we'll get that same one, because the front tire, I checked out the price at a couple places, and they're like $250 for that tire. It's like, wow, that's quite a bit. But they do got a really good sidewall, and I imagine if you get a flat, you save a lot of money, because you're not having to call anybody. You can still nurse at home, and I like that. And the back one too, I talked to a fellow online here that was saying, when I mentioned this on a vlog way before, he hit me up and he said, yeah, he got one on the back too, and was able to ride it all the way home. He said he didn't have any way to put air in it, and he said it went flat, and he said I just went real slow, and he goes, it got him home. He said he had about 25 miles to go, and he said it got him home without too much trouble. So, and that was on a tire that he just replaced it because he said it was, what do you call it? Baloney skin. I guess that's pretty smooth. I don't know. I look at bikes all the time whenever I see one parked in spots. And I have noticed one thing. A lot of them have tires that are just bald. I'm not going to ride on one. When that tread gets down to where you see the bars, that tire's going, and then the sidewall too. This one here in probably next year I'll have to replace these tires just from, even though I didn't ride it, they just go bad from sitting. So, all right, guys, that's just me. Diarrhea of the mouth. I'm going to let you go. And this is...
Rickshaw out. Bye. Rickshaw out.